Welcome to Papa's Workshop. Well, the old greenhouse behind me has now been completely refurbished. This greenhouse is actually about 7 years old, and it's been through many different storms. It has been beat up by the hurricanes back in 2020, 2021, and of course Hurricane Ida last year in 2021. And it has taken quite the beating. The panels had been knocked out, broken, blown away, and it was amazing that the frame actually survived. But today, finally got it completely rebuilt and got the garden back inside. I want to show you how I was able to make this transformation and get it back functioning again. Now this little greenhouse probably survived mainly because I've got a concrete foundation, and then I have the anchor bolts bolted in with the pressure treated wood just like you'd find on a house. And then on top of that, I have the greenhouse screwed directly into this pressure treated material. So the foundation really can't go anywhere at all. You might think that's a little overkill, but with so many storms that we have in this area, a good foundation is critical to the survival of this greenhouse. As far as these panels, that was the real problem. They became very, very brittle and that sun beating down on them all the time. Plus you had the water and the algae that would grow in between these panels, and you just could not clean those out. So with the storm last year, this just took a huge beating, and all this got blown out except for this one end wall. That actually survived. Now I've already started putting the brand new material on the side. After getting everything cleaned out and all these old panels out of the way, I wanted to show you this is the material that I'm going to be using. This is a polycarbonate material. It is just one layer. And the nice thing about it is I can actually screw it into this metal frame and it holds extremely well. No more of those little spring type clips that just did not hold these panels in. And when you cut it to size, it just snaps in, and you can see the screws that I have across the top. And now I'm going to go ahead and put them in the bottom. Cutting this material is actually very easy. Now I'm just using a pair of tin snips to be able to cut this to the correct width. And I actually found that this actually works the best. I tried a couple of different saws and it just did not work well. So it was just to the tin snips and cut away. Now because I didn't have the old panels to be able to measure off of, I had to literally measure each of the panels and then cut it to fit. And that made it a little bit more of a challenge, but it still went rather quickly. And then as far as putting the panels in, I would literally just take it and I can just put these right into position, get it where I want it, make sure that it fits all the way around on all four sides, and then I'm just taking a little small stainless steel self-tapping screw and I'm just screwing that in. I'm usually putting about 3 across the top and 3 across the bottom, and that holds it in perfectly well. The other nice thing about these panels is they are UV protected. They're 99% UV, and this is important. You have to put this side out. What do I mean by that? This label has to be on the outside. If it's flipped around, you're not going to get the full benefit of the UV protection. Now the nice thing about it, when it came time to put the end panels on, I had the old ones. And literally all I had to do is just take a marker and I could just mark exactly where to cut it. This made it so much easier and saved just a ton of time. I wish I had all of those old panels, but no such luck. So with that done, I can just set the old panel out of the way. In fact, it's headed to the trash can, and I can just cut out the new panel to size very easily right here in the shop. So let me give you a quick rundown of what I have growing in the garden so far. So far, I've got the tomatoes in there. I have eggplants, celery, lettuce. I've got the strawberries, onions, parsley, blueberries. All of that's growing now. And I also have a satsuma tree that is absolutely fantastic. One of the things that I really love is this satsuma tree. And it is fantastic to be able to come out here with the grandkids and be able to pick the satsumas and eat them right in the backyard. And this tree is really full of them this year. The blossoms are everywhere. I can hardly wait till this is in full bloom. It looks beautiful also. And the fruit that it produces is none better. You can't buy it in a store this good. The blueberries looking better than ever, and I can hardly wait till I get some blueberries growing on this bush. One of the other vegetables that I absolutely love to grow is the bell peppers. I've got about a half a dozen of those growing right now. The onions that I have, actually they're shallots. I get those when we go shopping in Walmart, cut the tops off, and I replant the bottoms, and they grow like crazy. I've had one set in the garden now for about 7-8 years, and they're still growing strong from that original set that I had planted. And I can do the same thing with the lettuce, the celery, and soon to be tomatoes. And not too distant future, I'll be able to come out here and be able to pick actual vine-ripened tomatoes. I can hardly wait for that. And I've got more vegetables and more herbs that I'm going to be adding to the garden in the coming weeks. One of the things that I did the last time I was gardening is I planted a lot of sweet potatoes. Well, I didn't do that this year, but I am doing the russet potatoes and I'm doing the red potatoes. I'm gonna give that a try and see how that goes. And all of this is being grown in the 5-gallon buckets. Now, I still have a lot of work to do because the garden itself needs a lot of tender loving care. I haven't done a lot of gardening in about the last 5 years. I just kind of walked away from it with all the storms and the destruction. But I want to get back into the gardening because there's nothing like growing your own food. It tastes so much better than what you can find at the store-bought produce section. Now, these strawberries actually found a new home in this pot. The lettuce and my downspout gutter system up top. And there's this little work area that I use to put everything together. And here's a lot more of the plants that's getting ready to go into the garden too. But you can see tomatoes, strawberries, eggplants, all in the greenhouse exactly where I want to have it placed. And of course I have the bell peppers and the parsley growing strong. If you'd like to see a video on how I set up this lettuce and the downspout gutter system, let me know. Leave me a comment down below and I'll be happy to do it. I'm also doing a little experiment with this gardening information. I'm very strongly considering starting a gardening channel. So if you like this idea, please go ahead and leave that in the comments as well, and I'll start my gardening channel. Now, this is going to be a second channel if I do it. It's not to replace the woodworking, the lasers, and the CNC projects that I do. Those projects will be able to continue just as they always have. So again, thank you very much for watching this short video today, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the shop or in the garden on whatever project that I'm doing. Bye-bye now.